I stood at the gates of his palace, dagger in my hand, my heart pounding with the weight of years of pain. The man who destroyed my life was just a few steps away. But then, I saw a boy, pale and coughing, struggling to breathe. And in that moment, everything I thought I wanted changed. If you've ever been so hurt that revenge felt like the only answer, this story is for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Silent Rise 8, and get ready for a tale of fire, loss, and a choice that shocked even me. Her name was Lala. She lived in a quiet village at the foot of Green Hills, a place where mornings smelled like fresh bread and evenings echoed with children's laughter. That was before he came. The ruler, Darius, wasn't a king by birth, but by conquest. People said his greed was so deep it could swallow the sun. One summer night, his soldiers arrived, their armor glinting in torchlight. The air was thick with the scent of burning wood before Lala even stepped out of her small home. Her husband, Amir, tried to fight, but he was cut down before her eyes. She remembered his blood mixing with the dirt, his last breath barely a whisper, "Live, Lala." The soldiers torched the fields, slaughtered the animals, and left the village in ruins. No reason, no mercy. That night, something inside her broke, and in that empty space, a seed of revenge took root. Years passed, the seasons changed, but Lala's rage didn't fade, it grew. She rebuilt a small hut on the ashes of her old home, not because she wanted to live there, but because she refused to let his destruction erase her. She learned to hunt, to move quietly, to listen. She gathered whispers from traveling merchants. Darius had grown richer, crueler. Taxes bled his people dry. Those who resisted disappeared. The more she heard, the sharper her resolve became. She didn't want his gold. She didn't want his land. She wanted to look him in the eyes and watch the fear take him, the way he had taken everything from her. It was a cold spring morning when she heard the news. Darius would return to his palace after a long campaign. Security would be tight, but the city would be distracted with parades and celebrations. That night, she packed only what she needed: a small pouch of herbs, a water skin, and a dagger with a wooden handle carved by Amir long ago. As she walked toward the capital, every step felt heavier. She thought of Amir's laugh, her mother's garden, the smell of fresh bread, all gone, all burned. By the time she reached the towering gates of the palace, her hands were trembling, but not from fear, from anticipation. She slipped inside through the servants' quarters, moving like a shadow through the stone halls. Her mind was clear: find him, end him. But instead of finding Darius on a throne or in a banquet hall, she found herself peering into a small room lit by a single oil lamp. Inside, a boy lay on a bed, maybe 12 years old. His skin was pale, his breathing ragged. Sweat soaked his hair. Beside him, an anxious nurse wrung her hands. "He hasn't eaten in days. The fever won't break," the woman whispered to herself. Lala froze. This was Darius's son. She had heard of him. The only child, the heir. She could feel the dagger's weight at her side. This boy was the future of the man she hated. A dozen thoughts collided in her head. This is my chance. This will hurt him more than death. This will make him feel my pain. But then, the boy coughed. A dry, desperate sound. His eyes opened just enough for her to see the terror in them. Not the terror of an enemy, the terror of a child clinging to life. And something inside her shifted. Her pouch of herbs felt suddenly heavier. She knew these plants: bitter leaf to cool the fever, thyme for the lungs, honey to soothe the throat. She stepped into the room, startling the nurse. "I can help him," she said. Her voice was steady, though her heart was racing. The nurse hesitated. "Who are you?" "Someone who's lost enough to know you shouldn't." Without waiting for permission, she crushed the herbs, mixed them with honey from her pouch, and held the spoon to the boy's lips. He swallowed weakly. Hours passed. The fever broke just before dawn. The boy slept, his breathing steady now. That morning, footsteps thundered in the hall. The door swung open. Darius himself stood there. He looked older than she'd imagined, his face lined, his hair streaked with gray. His eyes darted from the boy to her. "What have you done?" His voice was sharp, but not as sharp as the fear behind it. "I saved him," she said simply. He stared at her for a long moment, as if trying to place her face. "Why? Who are you?" She took a step closer, meeting his gaze. "I'm the widow from the village you burned, the woman you left with nothing." Recognition flickered in his eyes, followed by shame, or maybe guilt, though she doubted he knew the difference. "You had your chance to kill me," he said slowly. "Why didn't you?" "Because living with what you've done will hurt you more than anything I could do," she replied. She left the palace without looking back. The dagger stayed in her belt, untouched. For the first time in years, her steps felt lighter. Revenge had been her fire, but mercy was her freedom. The ultimate justice wasn't watching him die. It was watching him live, knowing that the woman he had tried to break had been strong enough to choose compassion over destruction. She didn't need his fear anymore. She had reclaimed her power in a way he could never take back. Sometimes the sweetest revenge isn't making your enemy suffer. It is showing them you were no longer ruled by hate. Mercy isn't weakness. It's the proof you've already won. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell us in the comments. Have you ever chosen mercy over revenge? And don't forget to subscribe to the Silent Rise 8 for more powerful true stories that will stay with you long after they end.